Okay. Good afternoon. Since we have started somewhat late, we will go immediately into any questions you might have. So, hands. Interesting, only ladies. Carrie? Yes.
Hello, Raj. It's good to be with you. And Gerald wants to say hello to you also. He couldn't be here today. It's been quite a month for me, and the pieces have fallen into place, and I'll be leaving next week. I'd like to ask you about my work situation. For quite some time, I've been feeling disengagement from the work I'm doing, and
The profession itself.
yeah, lack of joy and just not being as engaged, and I feel it when I'm there, and I don't like it. Is that a temporary situation for me, or is there something else I should be looking at in terms of what I should be doing?
It is completely temporary. The joy will return. The stress of feeling personally responsible for coping with all of the changes that are going on, all by yourself, is coloring everything and is wearing you out. You will find that once it is over and you're able to take a deep breath, what you call normal perspective will return. So don't jump to any conclusions and change careers abruptly here. It's not called for. I do want to home in on the fact that the stress comes, and this is true of everyone when you're experiencing stress, the stress comes from thinking you're alone and that you must handle everything yourself. That you must cope with it with your personal energy, and that's the only energy that is available to help you move through it. You all keep forgetting that there's a God. You all keep forgetting that you have a guide. You all keep forgetting that you are attended to, you might say, by servants, attended to by those who stand ready to serve you, to help you discover that everything you thought you had to cope with on your own is not what you thought it was, but is instead a movement of God that has no stress to it. They stand ready to help you look at it through a better perspective, so that you can see that the movement is occurring because God has set it into motion, and therefore God is at all points responsible for the rest of the movement, and therefore your only job is to cooperate with the movement, which is much easier than trying to cause the movement to be the way you perceive it must be, if, in fact, it's all up to you. You say, well, the demand is so much in my face, that I have to respond immediately, and I don't have time to stop long enough to consider that there might be help available to me, and even guidance that can show me that what I think I have to do doesn't need to be done. You see? Inevitably, if you are going to look at things all by yourself, without assistance, then because you have moved into an unnatural place, an unjoined place, and that is not natural, everything you see is going to be conflicted or potentially conflicted, and because you have chosen to be independent while you're looking at the movement of God, and you're seeing the movement of God as potentially conflicted, you will assume that it's up to you to iron out all the wrinkles and to cope with the conflict. You can't help seeing the movement of God as anything other than conflicted, polarized, oppositional, troublesome, if you're choosing to look at it from an unjoined place, all by yourself. It's not because the conflict is inherent in what you're seeing, it's inherent in the way you're looking at it. So, the sensible thing is not to attempt to cope with the conflict, but to do what's necessary to change the glasses you're looking through. And you change the glasses you're looking through by refusing to handle it on your own and taking 5 minutes or 10 minutes or perhaps a whole hour to stop in your tracks and say, wait a minute, I realize that if the conflict I'm seeing is because of the way I'm looking at it, then I am going to stop looking at it by myself and invite help. And I'm going to listen for the help. And I'm going to become still. Practically speaking, not lofty spiritual talk, the fact is that if you take a soak in a tub, or if you sit down and you meditate and you relax, your blood pressure drops, your heart rate evens out, your breathing slows down, your body comes into a state of relaxation. When you relax, it means that one way or another you manage to stop thinking so much for a little bit. And when you stop thinking and equilibrium comes to your body, that gives you a significant, very practical hint. It tells you that stress is the result of how you're thinking. And even more, it tells you that it's because you are thinking. Further, when you are stressed, pay attention to your body. Again, very practical, unlofty consideration here. Pay attention to your body. You feel discomfort in the area of the solar plexus. Your muscles are tense. And the way the ego works, it says, my body is telling me that there is a problem. My body is telling me that I need to be upset, you see. My body tells me that I need to be guarded that I need to be on guard, defensive. You use the sensations in your body to further confirm the need for you to be mentally distressed. When your body is giving you those signals because you first allowed yourself to become mentally distressed by choosing to cope with these things as though all there was to you is that body sitting there in that chair. And that you have no connection whatsoever with anything else other than what you're aware of. There is no God, there is no guide, there is no Holy Spirit. There is no answer available outside of what you can manufacture in your own mind through whatever skill you have. And if you don't have a lot of skill, you won't come up with an answer which makes you freak out even more, and your body gives you more feedback that it's necessary to be even more afraid. You see what I'm saying?
I'm
Pay
feeling
attention
less
to
and
the
less
obvious.
skillful.
I'm sorry?
I'm feeling like I'm less and less skillful, like I'm losing my skills. And that's not good.
This is good news. Because it's leading you to the point of giving up trying to have it personally all by yourself. Oh, you don't know the blessing it is for you to be coming to a place where the idea that you need help is really meaningful to you. Because until you know that you need help, you are going to persist in doing it all by yourself. And as long as you persist in being alone, in coping with existence, as I said, everything you observe is going to have conflict associated with it. Why? Because you have dissociated yourself, separated yourself from your source, God. From whom your intelligence comes, from whom your capacity to flow with His movement of fulfillment comes. Now, you don't have to arrive at a point of deeply, deeply, deeply feeling that you don't have any skills left before saying, Uncle. And that's why I'm talking to you here, because you can do it by choice before things are really rugged. You can do it when there's no apparent problem at all, because well, the best way I can put it is you are able to start moving forward into your sanity, into your whole-mindedness, without having to climb a mountain first, just to get over the depression of discovering that you lack the skill it takes to cope. Do you see what I'm saying? While all of you still think you are able to cope and you're not highly distressed, you can start right there by saying, help. My day that is ahead of me, that isn't frightening me, I would like your help with. How can I be utterly in the movement of this day of your unfoldment, God, and be in perfect harmony with it? Show me how to fit in so that none of the glory of it escapes my attention, and so that I experience more of what you're unfolding than my best imaginations might be. You see? keep saying it. The only thing confronting you is the only thing that's going on, and that's the kingdom of heaven. That is reality with a capital R. It is God moving, God being. It's the only thing confronting you. If you let that sink in, it's easier to be curious, to see God in everything. But if you think everything you're seeing is what you've decided it is, and God doesn't have anything to do with it, you're not going to bring curiosity. You bring with your definite sense of what it all is a wish to see what you believe it is. And it disallows for it to be anything more than what you have decided it is. You see? And so then you feel stuck, which you are, because you keep playing the same definitions over and over and over again, and you keep by virtue of your wish to see what you believe everything is, you send messengers out to bring back news to you confirming what you're wishing to see or what you have decided everything is. And the messengers you send out are obedient to you. So you have to send out new messengers. You have to send out messengers that arise from an impulse in you that says, I want to see more of what God is being in my day, in my face. So that the messengers will go out and gather that and bring it back and reveal it to you. You see? But you've got to stop getting off of the wheel and the habit, and be willing to look afresh. So, you know what, everybody, you've got to stop. You've got to stop this wonderful head trip that says, I know God is all and everything is going to be all right. And then continue on in your own little habit. If you're going to acknowledge intellectually that God is all and everything is going to be all right, then take the next step, which is the real step. Voice in your mind the desire to see more of God, and then pay attention for more of God to register with you. And that requires some self-discipline, because you've got to set aside whatever confirmation of safety you have been getting from valuing, fretting, being frustrated, worrying, being on the alert for what bad thing is going to happen. You see? You have to set that down. And that's a practice, that's a work, that's an effort. But you've got to remember that your habit of worrying is work as well. And that work depletes you because it uses your physical energy to create the sensations of fear that you use to confirm that fear is legitimate and defense is called for and more tension is justified. you've got to break the continuity of that habit. So do take a soak in a tub, or do sit down and breathe deeply and slowly and consciously for 5 or 10 minutes. Do something to break the pattern. Put your spiritual truths into practice. Ask for help. Reach out to God. Reach out to the Holy Spirit. Reach out to your guide. And then, shut up and listen. That's the practice. Shut up is the practice. And listen. Because the service that your servants await you to let them provide will be forthcoming, because that's the function of your servants. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. That's His service to you. Because if He doesn't extend all that He is to you, His purpose is not fulfilled, and He is not fully expressed right there where you are. And so if there is a God, God is your servant, not to give you what you want, but to give you all that He is, so that all that He is fully embodied right there where you are. And all of the brotherhood that is awake stands in God's service to provide the service God is extending to you by helping you recognize it, instead of your continuing to be distracted by poor choices of places to give your attention. You see? It is a blessing for you to lose confidence in your private, personal sense of capacity to cope with being. Being, existing, is not meant to cope with, it's meant to be experienced. Flowed with, allowed, enjoyed. If you are floating in a river, we'll say it's a gentle enough river that you can float on your back easily. The experience is pleasant. But if you decide that instead of flowing with the current, you're going to turn around in the opposite direction and swim upstream, then the river becomes something to cope with, you see? And being in the river is a coping situation. And it's also depleting in terms of your energy. Whereas if you're floating on your back, your energy can be regenerated because you're relaxed. Life is not meant to flow against and then figure out how to deal with the difficulty of going upstream. So what does that mean? When you are flowing with the current, you are saying yes to the way things work. It's like saying yes to God. You are joined with the purpose of the movement of the river. You are not expressing an independent will. You are yielding to the movement. And I promise you that when you yield to the movement of God, the scenery that is going to come to view is going to be phenomenal. But if you turn around and try to head upstream, you're not going to have a chance to see the scenery because you're going to be busy trying to survive from the loss of energy that you're going to experience because of the effort it takes to go against the current. And all of a sudden, something that is meant to be an experience of total fulfillment becomes an experience of survival. Until you're willing to say, hey, I'm worth the time it takes for me to turn over on my back and stop trying to cope for a moment and relax, to be still. And this is a wonderful example because the moment you do that, whether all of your energy has returned or not, whether you have decided to permanently give up going against the current, you do immediately find yourself in the movement of the river. Having yielded, physically you might say, even if you are lying there calculating how you are going to return to the struggle of swimming upstream as soon as you're rested. You see what I'm saying? It's inevitable for you to be in the movement of creation, in the movement of God. Because whether you're struggling to resist it or not, you are in it. Whether you're struggling against the current or not, you're in the current. You see? And either the current is your blessing because you're yielding to it, or it's your curse because you're swimming against it. But all the time you're in the current. All the time you're confronted with the movement. Just like all the time, the only thing you're confronted with is the kingdom of heaven. Be willing to break the pattern and yield to those who stand, who stand ready to serve you in revealing to you how you can gracefully abandon the ethic of being the best damned swimmer against the current. You see.